Hola, gente. Hi, people. Welcome back to Learning Language, B as in boy. Right? Growing up, my mom would have to call people, doctor, whoever. How do you spell your last name? Boas. B as in boy. Now, obviously not that boy. Boy, I go. First of all, first, mis correcciones. And I think it was the or Asto episode. One of the episodes I've said Bamo, and I've said Bamenos. And Bamo is certainly, because again, I've trained with listening to sounds. I don't claim my conjugations are good or always consistent or grammatically correct. That is not my point in these videos. What was I going to say? But the correct conjugation for ear is, for I go, is boy, not bamo. And when I hear bamo in songs, it's short for bamos, which is we go. And I'm just double checking, yeah, but bamenos is not, I don't think, certainly not any present tense conjugations. But I've heard either it's boy, bamos to bamos, we go, boy, I go, bamenos. I've definitely heard that. I've heard bamenos. So, like, where is this coming from? Remember, we're saying, we'll talk, a Spanish lesson, some just structured linguistics. I'm going to introduce the direct object conjecture. Then we'll go back to some, again, physics, math, more so math and logic, and try a complete solution for forms of words, language, or nouns, verbs, direct objects, blah, blah, blah. But I've definitely heard bamenos, and I think that just either might be slang, error, or expansion. Not really sure. But when I said them in the lecture series, they were just flat wrong conjugations. But just some other question I just wanted to ask and talk aloud. Why are common verbs irregular? I don't know. Why are there patterns to regular conjugations? I would say conjugating regular verbs is an algorithm, right? There's a set procedure you do to correctly conjugate. And again, why are the most frequently used words irregular? Again, some sort of differentiation, some sort of expansion of logic, some sort of expansion of specificity, more direction, more differentiated. I just wanted to pose a question, can't answer it. But now I want to talk about what is the direct object conjecture. I'm going to conjecture it absolutely makes no sense to ever have a direct object before a conjugated verb. Literally at all. Me gusta. Me, you please. Sound like a fucking douche in English if you said that. Anytime if you had a direct object before the conjugated verb, but like why linguistically? Why in order for prepositions, in order for the structure of the sentence to be continuous, or for the structure of the sentence to be open. How do we structure a question? Right order, you just flip low ace, K low ace. Ace low, is it K? Ace low K, is it what? Ace low K, is it that? But I don't think there's any reason to ever have a direct object come before a conjugated verb. And I think this is kind of why English has become the accepted language of science. And for my evidence, again, this isn't a proof, this is a conjecture. This is just conjecture. All right, contigo, conmigo. All right, semantically, 100% agree with you, with me. But literally, linguistically, and then remember, sounds have meaning, words have meaning. Translate word for word, translate sound for sound. Com with 100% agree. Tigo. T and me is linguistically consistent with my and yours. So with yours, go. With me, go. Not sure where the go comes from. I think it's literally integration of the English language or just some sort of structured thing. But the reason I say but again, if you look it up in the dictionary, the evidence it says, right, even though semantically it's with you, with me, 100% agree, but it says pronoun, right? You have to, in any linguistic context, you have to have a noun before you introduce a pronoun. So the noun's already defined in the context. So where's the, linguistically, historically, evolutionary, where's go coming from? I think it's English. But contigo, with your go, with my go. It's kind of literally what it translates to. But then also in the Spanish language, right, me, M-I-M-E, is my, but then you have M-E with the accent mark, and then sometimes, and those two are in the dictionary. You can look these two up in the dictionary that says mine. What did me say? Yeah, I forget. Let me pause and make sure I get it consistent. So for me, M-I, it has adjective, possessive, my. Totally agree. And then for M-E with the accent, it says pronoun personal, me. And then it has examples, es para mí, is for, literally note, that's is for my. Again, you wouldn't see, right? An accent is differentiation of linguistics, of writing, of alphabets, not of spoken words. There's no, words are not located anywhere. These are representations. Es para mí is for mine is literally, but again, contextually it would always default to is for me. Just like, again, gracias por is 100% wrong, and every Spanish scholar, native says it that way, and it still defaults wrong. I'm not native Spanish. Every time people use por out of context for, I literally, it just instantly flips in my head. Then it says me bio a. I don't know what bio, what verb that is. He saw me. Me seeing, he saw too. Me la dio a. Again, me, the direct object me la dio, give it to, he gave it to me. Yeah, directly it says he gave it to me. But me, it, he give to is what me la dio a translates to. But I think the emergence, and then, or you have mio and mia, and people will say that. That is not entered in this dictionary at all, 0%. And so why? And clearly that's gendering, right? That's consistency of gender, verb conjugation, gendering. So I think this emergence, this presence of people saying this, not being in the dictionary, is evidence that direct objects should never come before conjugated verbs. And so a couple other things that I'm going to go through. I posted some advice on Reddit, and we'll talk a little bit more about infinitive verbs and translations, and then we'll do the math, the logic and math and physics. But the last thing I just wanted to say, again, I'm just trailing off. I'm not going to restart the camera. But I said, right, oi, like soy, doi, I am, I give. Boy, or boy, I am, soy, or boy, I go, soy, I am, doi, I give, excuse me. But oi, and then in Spanish, they'll spell like the sound oi, O-Y-E, and like oy vey, like muy vey, something I didn't look that up, that's very common translator, people say that around town. But oi, right, in English, if someone said doi, like a little kid said doi, it means obviously, right? And the last time we said, of course, por supuesto, if you said doi, as like an expressive English sound, it would mean obviously, like children say that. And then obviously doi, in Spanish, is a structured word, I give. So let me just pull up my Reddit. Again, I'm going to show you why that you should always read the first infinitive verb as ing. Let me read again, sorry, I should have this stuff pulled up. But the question, here's the question. When to put an a before an infinitive? I've noticed that sometimes there is an a that comes before the infinitive, come versus a come, or comer. Sorry, my pronunciation errors to French with the er endings. And it's usually when there is another verb right before it. Yes. But I'm not sure what it means or represents. I know it doesn't translate to to because infinitives in English already have to before the verb. So it would already be incorporated into the Spanish infinitive. Correct. I also know it doesn't mean at because it's not a noun.
Doesn't matter. Your first explanation was correct. When is a before infinitives used, and what does it mean? And then I commented, comer, eating, a comer, to eating, bamo a comer, I go to eating. And again, bamo, flatly wrong, boy, a comer. And then I say the other answers are not correct. Infinitive verbs should be read with an ing suffix not preceded by to. Literally not taught that way, but it's correct. And then obviously I got 5 downvotes. Again, I've already done this complete logic reduction with the English and the French languages. I'm not asking anybody anything. But he goes, and then I get a response that says, you're probably being downvoted because everything you say here is wrong, and yet you assert everyone else but you is wrong for some reason. Again, because I approve the structure of all words. This guy right here. Comer, to eat. No. Comer, an infinitive. The reason you do this is because, remember, right, boy, comer. I think that's what the example uses, right? Yeah, he says, boy, comer. It says, I go to eat. No, the original poster has question directly stated the correct explanation. The two would already be plugged in there, or implied there. But boy is already a conjugated verb. So in a lot of contexts, and again I'm not exactly sure which, like, articulate it numerically or something, but you're taking these out of context and then saying an infinitive verb has to in front, but it's always like the second infinitive verb. So after a conjugated verb, or just any, again, conjugated verb, then infinitive verb, then infinitive verb. Again, the ing translation always makes sense, and you need to have a logically correct translation to get the meaning. But then people would say, right, if this was a bilingual person in English, it would sound so stupid, right? Boy, a comer, I go to eating. Sounds like you're daft or slow. You're tardes. But it's wrong. It's logically incorrect. And what else does he say? He says, comer, to eat, nope, eating. A comer, to eating. He says, to eat. Doesn't really translate, and it says, doesn't really translate any differently, and you just have to get the difference in Spanish. Scientific denial. Bamo isn't properly conjugated form of ear. Totally agree. It's 0% of my point. You either mean vamos for we go, or boy for I go. Totally agree. And then obviously this I love Reddit. I've blocked the person. This is just a normal conversation about language. I've blocked the person I was replying to because a review of his post history has revealed further engagement would not be useful. Rather than respond to him, I'm just going to say that any degree he pretends to have is imaginary. There are actually threads dedicated to his ideas on bad linguistics, and he tends to threaten to sue people who disagree with him on Reddit. Do with that what you will. No. Spreading my scientific proofs is actually fraud. And again, I'm a substantial business owner. I sue people when they break the law. but the point is this is scientific denial. This is denial. This is how you correctly translate things. And now I'll make sure the camera's still rolling. I'm going to read you one more, again, proof of why the converse, the non-native English speaker, conjugating verbs hilariously wrong because people teach it this way. So here's a quote I pulled off the Spanish thread on Reddit. When I speak Spanish to native Spanish speakers, they often reply in English. Why do you think they do that? Because context defines a variable, and when you don't have a confident command of the language, and if you really you understand lowercase, k lowercase is the structure of really, and then you insert specificity. Specifico, probably. But again, whatever native language you speak, whatever you have an urge to speak, whatever words are coming out, translate those word for word. No more idioms ever existed. It's the context in which they're used is what's changing and what throws people. But why did they do that? I did see one comment that said they're trying to learn too. I do agree with that at some times, but it's really the idioms. Even if you pass Spanish 5 or, again, whatever you did in school, you know when you're confidently speaking words you know. You can't say what you don't know. And if people are responding in English, it's probably because you're throwing a lot of just weird phrases and saying, they taught me this at school, and it's like, yeah, but those people also say gracias por. So it's like, well. But here's the other example, and just warning, this comes from Reddit, this comes from the Guns Fights thread, so this is a pretty violent clip if you look this one up. But this was just posted on Reddit. This is what happened if you don't grab your gun properly, parentheses, orange t-shirted guy tried to shoot a man that he argued with it, but got her gun taken by the guy, end parentheses. And then the first comment was, title actually killed my brain. And then the OP responded, English is not my native language. Sometimes I find it hard to write, especially when I rapid posting. Right? I rapid posting. That's the ing. This is him doing this instinctually into English. It's the first verb. There's no verbs before it. When you put come, it means eating, not to eat. Sorry for that. But again, you just see, like I said, semantically, this makes, again, the only thing really, like, even grammatically wrong is he uses her for a male pronoun. But that's, semantically makes sense. The title actually also killed my brain. But this is what's happening. English is more differentiated. The prepositions are more direct. The direct object should not come before the conjugated verbs. Bad job, human team. So now I just want to pull, those are some Spanish ideas, now I just want to pull again, bring this into just some more logical proofs. So now to pull those, again, that's the evidence in the Spanish language. Again, English is the more differentiated. There are unique sequences of letters, so I'm trying to show a reduction into the Spanish language or something. But to bring those ideas and to start bringing this into general proofing. We just talked a lot about direct objects, right? Adverbs modify verbs. Adjectives modify objectives. You said nouns, but linguistically, prove me wrong. Objective is way more similar to adjective than noun. But seriously, I mean, that's the iteration. And so, right, structured linguistics right now, you'd say adjectives modify nouns. No, adjectives modify objectives. Right? Our fundamental form, our general form of analogy, this is to that what that is to this. Adverbs are to verbs, adjectives, what adjectives are to objectives. There's our fundamental linguistic analogy. And then also I'm trying to, again, censor with an S is to sentience. Censor with C is to not sentient, or not sentience. But again, you can go look at those in the wild, they're rampant and everywhere. But if my cell phone detects it, it's a sensor with a C. If I detect it, it's a sensor with an S. If a dog detects it, it's a sensor with an S. Their nose, it's a sensor with an S. My washing machine that has sensor with the S on it, that's wrong. That's bad job. Whirlpool. But now a direct literal proof. Range expands base with consonants. Literally. A, and E are the only two vowels in either of those words. Range has 5 letters, base has 4. And things that aren't vowels are consonants. So range expands base with consonants. Range reduces to base. A converse kind of statement. The universe is expanding. The opposite of expansion is reduction. Expand, reduce. And then, again, now an objective, changing the pronunciation, or the emphasis even, not even really the pronunciation, just the emphasis. An objective is a goal. An objective is a goal. Go, goal. Contigo. Contigo, conmigo. An object is a base. And then I have a shadow. I proved that in the math series. You can't have a shadow without a base object. So now we can just kind of state the complete logical model of physics with correspondence to the 100% limit of conservation of energy and momentum. Clear jump. but you need a base in dimensionality 3. You can expand that base to a maximum, that's a range. You can reduce that base to a minimum, which is absolute 0, right? Doesn't exist. Physically, right? I can take my notepad and take my sheet of paper and rip the pieces of paper, throw them over there. The mass is just over there now. And so you can have a base object, you can't physically reduce it to 0, and then if you wanted to expand it physically, make it larger, you couldn't make paper without the mass that's already out there in 3 dimensions. It doesn't exist. So this right here, alright, when I was 2, 4, 5, just putting some numbers on words, right? When I'm talking about 5 or 6, right, like 5 words to completely categorize the change of a black body, the mass and the energy content of a black body with 5 words. So again, that's kind of like a complete, again, logical solution. It's a complete logical model. So that's what I have for today, and very certain on the, again, I've said the infinitive verb conjugation thing multiple times. So once again, I hope you have learned something, and now I can reduce the logic of English and Spanish with a one-way definitive translation in some sort of cool result. Still working. Again, how many straight years of scientific derivation? I don't fucking know. Actually, I do. It's like 28 in one day. Pretty cool stuff. Thank you for watching Learning Language. Be as in boy.